So the Dallas Mavericks escape a sweep 122-84. And honestly, I don't know what you all want me to do with this video. I don't know. You want me to break down a blowout? So I don't know. I'll see you all next time. All right, peace. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button. All right, I'll see y'all later. Peace, peace, peace. All right, now seriously, I don't know what y'all want me to do with this video. I don't know. Y'all want this is what y'all want me to do? Let me get into the mode right now. What y'all probably want me to do, or what everybody else is going to do, especially going on Monday when the new when ESPN comes back from the weekend break. This is what we're gonna do. Oh my goodness, the Dallas Mavericks are gonna be the first team in NBA history to come back down 0-3 as they blow out the Boston Celtics in Game 4, avoiding a sweep, finding new solutions. Dante Exum, Tim Hardaway gave them great minutes. Is going to be a difference maker. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum shrinking once more. The truth is finally revealed about the fraud Boston Celtics finally being challenged. Up next on First Take at ESPN. Is that what y'all want from this video? Is that what y'all want? But seriously, I'll try to find a way to make this into a video for you guys. So the Dallas Mavericks, they win Game 4, avoiding a sweep 122-84. The biggest margin of victory in finals history. It was just ridiculous. At one point, the Celtics were down by 48 points. Jason Tatum has the lowest plus minus in NBA finals history. And a lot of this for Dallas was just a lot of defense and effort. Something that a lot of people were talking about constantly, including myself, after Game 3's performance, in particular with Luka, where he was egregiously bad in the 2 games prior. Apparently, the Dallas Mavericks and Luka and some of his teammates, coaches, it had a heart-to-heart, in the back, and sat down with Luka, kind of explained to him that this is an opportunity, a moment that you should not be taken for granted, and really show a bit more effort on the other side of the floor. I really and truly didn't like the fact that there were so many people trying to excuse Luka's efforts, because even though, yes, he's dealing with an injury, some of the things that he just struggled with, in all honesty, I think a lot of it just had to do with attention to detail rather than him actually trying to give a damn. But the combination of both really made it look really, really bad. And because how many people were holding him to such high regards and being critical of him, we got a much better effort defensively from Luka. And I think because of that, it was a huge difference maker for this game. And I'm not going to sit here and act like, oh my God, can they come back down 0-3, the first team ever? Oh my God. I'm not going to sit here and do that, because that right there would be crazy if I did do that. However, I do believe it is very interesting to see that as soon as the Boston Celtics had a hard time with any form of dribble penetration, collapsing the defense, having it rotating, a lot of what we normally, or a lot of what people thought they were going to see, is what really reared its ugly head throughout the entire game. Because they were not able to penetrate, drive, and kick out and swing the ball that way, the ball just went from one perimeter player to another perimeter player to another perimeter player, and there was no real advantage that was created. This is something that really, really bothers me with Jason Tatum. One of the biggest problems I see with him way too often in way too many games, where he doesn't use his physical advantages to his benefit, beat certain players off the basket, get to the lane, but instead he just settles for a lot of jump shots. But that was a lot of players in today's game. But in all honesty, this is kind of the game that many people thought that the Boston Celtics would inevitably have. Just a piss poor performance from the starting 5 completely. Jason Tatum finished with 15 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and 2 blocks, shooting splits of 40-25, got to the free throw line 6 times, made all of them, but again, too little too late. Jaylen Brown, he was held to 10 points on 12 shot attempts. Derek White, 2 for 8, all of which were from 3, and Drew Holiday, 4 for 10 from the field. Just a bad shooting game all around. Now, again, on one hand, you could easily say, especially if you're the Celtics, you're up 3-0, you're just trying to figure things out, and if you lose this game, who really cares? You have way more opportunities in this series to still win, and you go on to the next game, and you try to win another one. But if you are potentially Dallas Mavericks and you're an optimistic fan, you can easily convince yourself like, hey, we found a weakness, and you can definitely argue because Kristaps Porzingis, which is a fold in their offense that they've utilized pretty extensively in those first 2 games, because he is missing potentially for the remainder of the series, even though he was available today, they're going to continue to have this problem where as long as we can contain a lot of the dribble penetration, we can really hold off their offense from thriving at levels that peak at all-time highs that we saw in the regular season, because they do settle for a lot of three-pointers. Personally speaking, I think these are fairly easy adjustments that can be made. I don't want to spend too much time talking about it because effectively Tatum and Brown, put your head down, beat players off the dribble, don't allow Luka to still stay in front of you, and shift the defense a little bit more. Something that I think a lot of people tend to undervalue in today's game, and that is playmaking and shifting of defense, getting open opportunities for your teammates and making the game come to you instead of just jacking up a bunch of three-point shots. And because of that, you got a pretty good clean game from Dallas as well. Not only because you got some quality minutes from the defensive side, but also offensively, both Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic finished pretty well scoring wise. Kyrie with 21 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. Luka with 29 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, and 3 steals. Shooting splits were respectable from two-pointer, but the threes weren't falling, and yet they still found a way. And outside of Luka and Kyrie, huge shout out to Derek Lively. He came in, was very impactful, actually made a three-pointer. That was crazy, but his impact on the boards is what was really felt, as he finished with 12 rebounds, 7 of which were offensive boards, gave them more opportunities even when they were missing their shots. And the one thing I did like about the Dallas Mavericks in this game is that they took advantage of other ways to kind of shift the defense. They didn't settle for a bunch of three-point shots all the time, even though both Kyrie and Luka still took a lot. They made quick and decisive attacks at the basket, which again shifted the defense, and we got more looks from behind the arc. PJ Washington made some threes. Derrick Jones Jr. made a three. They actually found a potential fold in the mix, and that is Dante Exum coming off of the bench. He was a little bit more aggressive, a bit more dynamic offensive player who can put the ball on the floor, create some defense for himself and others. And I think that's something that Jason Kidd has been trying to look for over these past 2 to 3 games, especially when Porzingis isn't available, because he can get away with a bit more smaller lineup and not have to be taken advantage of like they were in the first 2 games when Porzingis was available. So all of these things are interesting. All of these things are great. But again, I'm not going to sit here and act as if like I believe that the Dallas Mavericks are going to go crazy and come back from a down 0-3. Like I don't think that's going to happen. I think that this series is pretty much over, but it is very interesting to see that the game that many people thought that they were going to have eventually happened for the Boston Celtics, where they just start chucking up a bunch of shots, can't make anything, and the offense really just devolves completely to just utter mess and just nothing that's being productive at all. And it actually got really, really bad in the second quarter, in the beginning of the third, where the lead really ballooned to something that was just completely outrageous. The Celtics throughout the second quarter and the first half of the third quarter only scored 26 points. 26 points in effectively 18 minutes of action is ridiculous. And in that stretch, they only made seven field goals, 7 for 25 from the field, 5 for 15 from behind the arc, only getting to the free throw line 7 times, turning the ball over 5 times as well. Almost having the same amount of turnovers as made shot attempts is ridiculous and crazy. But it does always beg the question, if you are Dallas, how much different this series could look going back to Boston. If you took game 3 a bit more serious defensively from Luka, if he didn't foul out, if you were able to close out games, if you took advantage in game 2 of the Boston Celtics shooting 25% from 3, things could be a bit more different. You could see a tied series going back to Boston instead of being down 1-3. But this is all just a learning lesson, and you have to really take advantage of every opportunity that is given to you. And so I definitely believe that this team is going to grow from this. This is a game that people thought was going to happen. It ended up happening. And you kind of just tip your hat off. Great defense, great rotations, things that can be learned and picked up to move from one game to the next, and adjustments that will be made from the Boston Celtics. Effectively, just be more aggressive. Stop settling for threes. If it's not falling, get to the basket and make something happen. I just was very disappointed in the fact that I saw it once more, but it was expected. And if you are Dallas, there is a lot of things, if you're Dallas, you can see from this. Force them to start shifting the ball around. If you are going to send double teams, something that I saw in that stretch a little bit more often, make sure you send the double teams in a way in which it's not easy for Tatum or Brown to make certain reads. In the first 2 games, especially in the first 2 games, the way that they were doubling or collapsing on Jason Tatum, he could just make the reads very easy, just swinging right out to the corner or dumping it off to Drew Holiday, who's right at the basket in the dunker spot. Make them make the skip passes that they can't really make. Force them into those type of reads that they struggle with. And honestly, that is something that I saw much improved in this game as well. But all in all, I just take away from this game much better effort defensively, much better execution defensively from Dallas, and a Celtics team that fell victim to problems that they always struggle with all of the time. But honestly, that's really it. I'm not going to sit here and drag on a near 50-point blowout to you guys. I'm not about to do that. But yo, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the subscribe button, notification bell, and until next time, I'll see you all later. Peace.